multiple different vortices going in different directions, and that is courtesy of the lake. We have wind off the lake. Again, it's frictionless off there. Sometimes you'll get the colder air in the backside of the thunderstorm that just dumps out over the lake. That cold air is heavy, dense. That can rush inland as well. So you have that combined with just the normal wind going from west to east down to the south. You get all sorts of weird things that happen. But you notice this vortice right here is kind of heading down towards the south. We've got another one here, which is going more towards a southwest direction. So two areas that we're watching. The one that the Weather Service has issued this tornado warning for is this northern one that I've circled. And again, that is the one that we've been tracking through western areas of Erie County that had a tornado on the ground. Looking at the latest, though, if I were to do some radar analysis on this, I'm seeing the rotation broaden out a little bit. What we look for when we have a tornado on the ground, when we can look inside the storm and look at the velocity, which is what you're seeing, what we look for is a real tight couplet where those reds and the greens touch each other in a very close proximity, right? And what we're seeing is it's kind of broadened out a little bit. You notice how this isn't quite as compact. Yeah, there's some noise there. I don't know if that's actually radar feedback or if that's just an anomaly in some of this radar data. But overall, we're starting to see more of a broad rotation within this. So that is a good sign in terms of our tornado warning that's issued. But even if you're not getting a tornado, we've got damaging winds within this storm. We've got hail. We have very heavy rain and lots of lightning with this. So just because we may lose the tornado warning, we'll see what the Weather Service does over the next 10 minutes. But just because we lose the tornado warning, if we do, that doesn't mean we can let our guards down in terms of the storm, because wind damage can certainly cause a lot of problems, and the lightning can as well. So here's where we are right now. Notice the rogue lightning strikes out ahead of this main cell in Erie and now northern Huron counties. We're getting some strikes out in Lorain County, a couple in western Cuyahoga County. This is not a good time to be outside seeing what this storm looks like as it comes in, because this lightning is striking out ahead of it. And the reason why is because this thunderstorm top right here is probably 40, maybe even 45,000 feet in the atmosphere. You get the anvil out ahead of that. So the jet stream wind is coming through. It picks up this cloud as it grows into the sky and blows the chute off the top of that. And what we're seeing in Lorain and western Cuyahoga County right now is you are underneath that anvil. So you are underneath a part of this storm that's way back in Erie and Huron counties, and you can get lightning out of that. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So it is not safe to be outside, despite the fact we've just got light rain falling in areas of Cuyahoga and Lorain counties. And you notice all the strikes out over the lake as well. A couple cells developing out in Ashtabula and southeastern areas of Geauga County right now, out towards areas of northern Portage County. Those are not severe. You're getting some downpours. Probably have some lightning strikes in Ashtabula County here shortly. Cleveland, no big threat right now. What we're going to keep our eye on in Cleveland are these storms out over the lake. The good news is we've got a nice rain shield out in advance of that, so that rain is going to help to cool and stabilize the air a bit. So hopefully we're just dealing with a heavy rain event for the Cleveland area, but it's this cell right in here that continues. I mean, if I were to pull up this radar and show you the lightning, your eyes are drawn to that. That is by far the most powerful cell that we have in northwest Ohio right now heading into north central Ohio as the cell continues to advance down to the south. One thing I want to do, Jason, I'll send it back to you in just a second. One thing I want to do right now is track this storm out. So let me get this kind of configured here so we can track out some timing for you, because I have neglected to do that yet. And I want to pull up the right tracker here. Here we go. So let's time this out. Here's where it is right now. This thing's heading south and west, so Medina, you're going to be in the path of this. So we're talking Vermilion, 744. That's in a matter of minutes. You're probably already getting the rain and you're seeing the lightning. Oberlin around 753. Carlisle around 803. Lafayette around 817, and Brunswick, we're now getting into some of the more heavily populated areas in the Cleveland metro area. That would be around 830. I would probably say we're getting the rain in downtown Cleveland right now in Cuyahoga County, but I would say the more punchier part of the storm will probably move in another 45 minutes or so for you. Jason, I'll send it back to you right now.
Okay, and I was looking at the rainfall rates over there, Matt. It is over an inch and likely nearing 2 inches in some of that area as well. And our great producer, Kelly, was just telling me that over near the Toledo area, there's roughly about 9,000 power outages. I saw just about 7,500 over near Lucas County on my end as well. So this is going to be a storm that could likely potentially cause some power outages for the rest of the evening. This is why we're saying make sure you have everything charged that you need charged, just in the event that we have even more severe weather that could happen or pop up here for the rest of the evening, just as you're nearing bedtime.
They extended to South and east.
Okay, yeah. New warning you can see there extended south and east. You can see there including Huron County, south of Norwalk there. Wakeman, you're outside of it, but still in that severe thunderstorm warning. Matt, how long does that go to, my friend?
This will go until 8:15 Eastern time. Bellevue and Sandusky, it's southwest of Sandusky, but those are the areas where we're seeing this rotation in western Huron County right now.
Okay, perfect. And we'll get that banner change down there as well. That is not including Sandusky and also Erie County. So you can see where this includes right now. This is the area that we're watching near the Bellevue area, as Matt was just saying there, heading south and also east. This is also the area that will have lots of lightning, very, very high winds, tornadic likelihood development. This is why they saw that, this is a really good thing that we need to continue with this warning and continue with it south and also east, because that is the direction that the storm is moving. There is still a lot of hail associated with this as well. We have some video over near the Toledo area that was taken. If we can pull that up right now. This is some of that damage you can see there. And one of the good indicators that there's tornado damage is, unlike straight line winds, is you have damage going in all directions. You just don't have one direction of damage you normally get with a gust of wind or a straight line wind or something like that. These pictures really indicate that this storm is very strong, and it is causing some damage, not just in small structures, but large structures, putting down power lines, causing roof damage, causing shingle damage, causing building collapses. Boom, you see that right there. And that looks like a pretty sturdy building as well. You can see some of the bricks was blown off that apartment building, which I believe that is. Trees down on cars and things. This is still that same storm. This rolled through, I think, roughly about an hour and a half ago, as Matt was telling me his friend is over in that area. And when it hit, I believe, Matt, she said it hit hard too, and it hit very fast. So, yeah, we are kind of outside severe weather season, certainly in this part of the country, but, that's not to say that this is not something that can happen. And we already have that happening here. So as well, and Matt put on there, rotation, strong winds. This is going to be leading the sort of nexus of this storm system as it's moving south. But all other areas outside of this, we do have the potential for some strong storms to move through, which is why we have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect through about 11 p.m. for this evening. So this is just a regular old live radar right now. This is indicating that, yes, we have a lot of rain associated with this. We have a lot of lightning associated with this. We've already seen some hail associated with this as well. Look at how many lightning strikes are associated with the nexus of this storm right now. This is sort of the nucleus of the most powerful energy that is embedded within this. We've had very warm and moist conditions, heat, humidity, instability, moisture. These are ingredients that are necessary for severe thunderstorm development. We've had things rolling through this area, and it's just hitting sort of the friction and causing the rotation to happen within this thunderstorm system, which is prompting this alert right now. We've already seen and gotten reports that, yeah, people have seen a tornado. National Weather Service is going to be certainly on the ground investigating that in terms of a storm damage survey. I've had the pleasure of being on a couple of those in the past. That is likely going to happen tomorrow. So we will not be able to rate exactly what this is happening. But they will be the one, they will be the voice, and we're also going to be the voice providing that information for you too. So you can see where our warnings are in effect. They're about 8:15 for right now. You can see where we have what looks like to be just a little bit of damage there over near 20, over near the Bellevue area right now. This will likely still be a system that even if the tornado is not on the ground, there is still some very powerful winds that is near the ground happening within this, okay? So we're gonna stick with this. We're gonna stick with this probably for the next 15 minutes or so, at least however long this warning is gonna be in effect. Behind that, not a whole lot of energy is happening, but look at what's happening over the lake right now, okay? So over the lake, Cleveland, you're gonna be included within that over the next, let's say 30 minutes to an hour. We've already begun to get some rain here along the lakeshore region, Lake Geauga County. You've already begun to get some rain and even some thunder and lightning over in that area as well. Trumbull County, you're gonna be next. Ashtabula, you're picking up on a little bit of energy there. Back towards Lorain County, outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, but you're not that far away, okay? You have your neighbors just towards the west that are underneath that. Wakeman, Vermilion, Lorain, down to New London, our friends over there in Huron County, Norwalk County. Norwalk, you're kind of like right in the midst of this energy here. So if you got anybody or you know anyone over there, just go ahead and check on them and see how they're doing. and make sure that they are in a safe place, okay? Matt, I'll send it right back over to you while I check a couple of things on my end.
You got it, Jason. All right, so we're watching this area rotation. That new warning that Jason was talking about got issued for areas of Huron County now. They've extended it down towards the south. So we'll go back to our basics, kind of the who's in, who's out. We have that severe thunderstorm watch for counties in yellow. That does include the Akron area. That includes Cleveland. It goes all the way as far east as the Painesville, Perry area, out towards Middlefield, as far south as areas of southern Wayne County. Holmes County, you were not in this, but areas along 71 and Ashland and Richland County are under that severe thunderstorm watch. Basically, the potential for severe weather is there for those areas the rest of the evening, and it's all going to come from this cluster of storms that we continue to track in. But by and large, the most important part of this whole talk right now is this tornado warning that's ongoing for areas of Erie County, and it's pushing into Huron County right now. And again, this is going to push down to the south and east, becoming more of a Huron County problem than an Erie County problem as this tornado warning goes. I believe I said 8:15 on this. 8:15 on that. There's 34,000 people included in that. And you can see how they just expired the one for the northern half. And we're down to just this one tornado warning right now, which includes southern Erie County and then most of Huron County, pretty much from 61 out towards the west is our area of concern right now, including Bellevue. So what I want to go into right now, again, on the radar right now, we've got this large complex of storms. There are still some nasty storms out over the lake. So Cleveland, again, we are not out of the woods yet. It helps that we're getting a general rainfall out in advance of that. But these storms that are heading into Erie, Huron, and eventually Lorain and northern Ashland County here shortly, these storms have nothing out ahead of them. There's not a ton of instability. We have instability, but helping this cause is a jet streak that's coming in, or basically there's some energy, some wind energy at the mid and upper levels that is punching into this, which is helping to sustain these storms and overcoming the fact that we don't have a lot of instability out there. I mean, this today did not scream severe weather. We had temperatures in the low to mid 70s. We have dew points, which measures how muggy it feels outside, that were in the upper 50s at best. We were basically bottom of the barrel in terms of a severe weather potential today, but that potential was there. And we were talking about it over the last couple nights. And now it's coming to fruition with this gigantic storm that came out of the Toledo area. Detroit got hit with this as well. And it continues to play with our lakeshore, and it continues to produce areas of rotation. So the area of rotation right now, we're going to zoom in on this. This is our velocity radar that we look at. And that area of concern is this little entity right there that's diving down towards the south. However, there is a little area popping up just south of Sherman right there. You see the really dark blue color there. That indicates the potential for some very strong wind within this storm. So that's why they have the tornado warning out for pretty much this whole area here. There's two separate areas to watch. Concern to me would be the fact that we've got not just this little kind of notch here of stronger winds just south of Sherman, right over North Greenfield Road there by Forest Lake Park out in Huron County. But I think, just doing radar analysis in my career, I think this is going to be our next area of concern. I think this is going to be more the area of rotation that we're watching and less this one that we had earlier up towards the Bellevue area. I think this is weakening and this portion down towards the south is strengthening. So if you're in Huron County right now, you need to be in your safe place. I know we know the drill. It's not often that we have to do this, but you're going to want to be in a basement or somewhere safe because of the history of this storm. We've had a tornado on the ground with this storm back in Lucas County. Toledo got slammed by the storm in the south suburbs of that city. And this continues to produce rotation and at times a very strong rotation. And to me, Jason, I'll send it back to you in a second here. To me, this is the area of concern. I know it's in the tornado watch box, but if you're in Sherman, heading over towards the Bronson area, North Fairfield, this storm is heading your way. It's heading southeast around 40 miles per hour. So that would take it even into the Willard area. It might pass a little bit north of you, and then eventually Plymouth and Fitchville. All those locations in Huron County are in the path of this storm. Either way, you're getting hit with some hail. We've got lots of lightning, very heavy rain with this. And then our main concern, obviously, is that tight, small, localized area where we could have a tornado on the ground right now.
That's such great information, Matt. And I know, guys at home, it probably seems like we're just vomiting a whole lot of information to you. But there is something to take away from this, is that there is an imminent threat for some strong storms, some severe storms across Northeast Ohio. And what that breeds is the possibility that it could cause some damage. So there is a lot to unpack here, but this is a system that we've seen cause some damage, as Matt was just saying, back over to Toledo area. And we got some video that's going to be coming in here that I saw over near the Point Place area, which I think is just to the north of Toledo. Some really great video that's coming in. Let's look at downtown Cleveland right now, because we got a mass of people downtown in Cleveland. And a lot of people are wondering, okay, is this coming this way? What's going to happen? Is it eventually going to get here? Is it going to kind of die out? What's going to happen? Well, you can kind of see sort of the calm, calm. I use calm loosely before the storm. The storm is not that far away. So what we're going to have happen here in Cleveland, yes, we'll get some strong storms that come through, but I believe what could work to our benefit over the next 2 to 3 hours is we're going to lose that sun angle, and we're losing it minute by minute, and that will likely help to kind of broaden out some of these storms from even re-strengthening. Okay, so we'll lose that daytime heating, we'll lose sort of that energy source that is there, that we even think with tropical systems they need the warm water. You lose that warm water as you go over land, you lose that vital source. So this is what we have happening, just a regular radar loop right now. We have some energy that is firing away over in areas east with some thunder and lightning there. Not a major threat for you right now, just other than some thunderstorm activity happening. This is sort of like the bread and butter of what's happening with our system as it's moving south and east into the area, Erie, Huron, and also Lorain County. We do have several counties that is under a severe thunderstorm watch, but this is sort of the area that we're watching right now. Power outages, could they be impacted? Yes, and yes, they will. We don't really have a whole lot of reports to go on in that area right now, but I bet your bottom dollar we're going to have some power outages that's happening here, as well as some ponding on some roadways, primary as well as secondary. Damaging winds, yes, at least 40, 50, 60 mile per hour plus, and that is going to be in that threshold that meets severe weather status, severe thunderstorm status, I should say here. So we'll get back over towards this area of concern right now. And Matt, if you could be so kind to maybe put on a little bit of a tracker for some of our areas that is going to be impacted by this, I think that it would be really awesome for us.
Yeah, Jason, I'll get that. Okay. Jason, I'm concerned right now, that area rotation that I was talking about just a second ago, where that secondary area down by the Peru, Monroeville area, that's really starting to tighten up a bit, and that looks to be more of a tornado signature than I think we've seen all evening so far, and that says a lot. So here's your track on there. I want to get into that storm and kind of look at where that rotation is, if that's okay. And again, I mean, look at this. I mean, Jason, we're talking... Yeah. Here's the rotation we were watching earlier. This is the one that had the tornado with it as it kind of careened along the lake and then took a dive down to the south. But to me, this is a much bigger area and bigger concern now across central areas of Huron County. To me, that screams something is happening in the clouds, if not on the ground right now, as we're getting a burst of not just wind energy, but there's some energy coming in with the storm system, not just aloft, but down at the surface as well. So, if I were trying to call for a tornado right now, would be right in this area. But the other thing is, I mean, this is a large, broader scale area of circulation right now, but we've got some really intense wind within this, and that is just south of Monroeville, right along 99, it looks like. I'm going to zoom in even further here if that's okay. But yeah, right along 99. Bronson, you're in this. This is all happening just south and west of Norwalk. So I don't want to say you're in the clear in Norwalk right now. Yeah, there's good hook, and the hook's showing up on reflectivity as well. But I don't want to say you're in the clear in Norwalk, but the worst part of the cell is just southwest of you. So if you would be in the clear, it would be just southwest of you. So you want to be in a safe place anyway. But the Bronson area, if you're anywhere in Huron County along 250 or 61, you're either feeling it right now or you're about to. That includes Forest Lake Park, North Fairfield. You'll be in the path of this. But to me, this is starting to spin up versus our other cell off towards the north, that Bellevue cell. We still have rotation in it, sure, but that's looking like it's weakening a little bit as this other cell starts to take over. So that's kind of the scope on what we're dealing with right there. In terms of the warning, we still have the tornado warning out for for southern Erie County and then Huron County. I think this threat right now, again, is in these areas right here with that kind of double little couplet that we've seen across areas of Huron County. As we advance out, I know Jason was asking to kind of fast forward the time frame here, which I think is a great idea. The other thing is, that's kind of difficult to do because these storms are moving in different directions. We've had a general west to east movement. This one's kind of moving down towards the south. I'll take lightning off so you can see it a little bit better. But you can notice, I mean, the reflectivity, the rain is wrapping around something, and that is that area of rotation that we pointed out about 10 minutes ago that was strengthening. And now you can see right here, I don't know if you could see that. I could change my color on there. I think that's showing up on the screen. But that wind is wrapping that rain around something, and that would be your center of circulation, which is right over 61 in Huron County right now, just south of Norwalk. So that is a big concern right now. It's rare in Ohio that we get a reflectivity. What I mean by that is this radar, which shows rain. This is strictly showing rain, and it's showing where the heavy rain is. But it's rare in Ohio that we get rain that starts to show and take on the characteristics of a tornado signature. And it would be right in here where you have that swirl. This area right here over 61 is where the worst part of that storm rate is right now, and where that strong area of rotation that we pointed out a couple minutes ago, that's where that is right now. So let's time that out. I think that's probably the most important thing to do right now. This is heading east-southeast a little ways, so probably around 40 miles per hour is still what we're still dealing with here. So let's take it kind of this direction, and we're talking Bronson in just a matter of minutes. I mean, you should be in a safe place there right now. Hanville Corners at 8:05, Olena at 8:07, and Fitchville at 8:13. That's the arrival to this new area of circulation, not the old one we were tracking, but this new one, which looks a little bit more robust and looks more like a tornado signature to me, and the radar is showing it here with the reflectivity. A very dangerous storm right now in Huron County. Erie County, we can almost clear you out from the tornado situation. Most of you are fine right now. Sandusky up towards the islands, you're okay. But this is a Huron County problem right now, and eventually that's going to be pushing down to the southeast. So we'll have to keep our eye out for areas of Lorain County, and then eventually areas of northern Ashland County, and then Medina County after that. So certainly going to be a long evening here as it looks right now as we continue to track this main storm. Jason, we'll send it over to you there at the wall.
You know, Matt, I was looking at some of those tops on this thunderstorm system are tens of thousands of feet. I'll say anywhere from maybe 15 to 20,000 feet cloud tops with this. So you know there's a lot of energy associated with that. There's a hook that is happening right now, as Matt, you were just saying there. So this is an area, if we can put that, that tornado warning back up, along with the timeline of that tracker.
That's your new warning. That's for that new circulation right there. Yep.
There you go. This is prime time to make sure that you are in your place. As our chief always says, make sure you get in that basement. You got your helmets on and you're buckling down, because this was very much so likely a very strong tornado that is moving through this region. And there's nothing that's typically going to stop this guy from right now, at least from what we're seeing right now as well. So make sure that you're in your safe place. This tornado warning is in effect. You can see there until about 8:30 Erie and also Huron County, with a southeasterly movement roughly around 40 miles per hour. So it is racing south here, and it is likely going to do some damage. So any sort of mobile homes within this area, if you know anybody, I've seen somebody on Twitter saying that I'm stuck on the turnpike right now. There's people that are stopped on the turnpike. I don't really know what to do. What you need to do is make sure you secure yourself in the event that you're going to be in the path of this tornado. And securing yourself means that you're protecting your life, protecting your property, and any and everyone that is near you or around you, those that you value most. So if you know anybody in this area, please let them know this is a particularly damaging situation. Kelly, you were saying, I think we have a video or something? Okay, from Point Place, this is the video that I saw earlier here. You can see that is that system, that is that tornado that we were tracking just not too long ago, and this is likely going to be still the same one here, whether or not it bumped back up a little bit, but this is the same system that is headed south and east. So you can already see there is definitely some damage being associated with that. Whether it's an EF1, 2, or 3, this will definitely be something that is going to be a memorable storm for them. Transformer being blown, you can see there crossing the highway. Unfortunately, people are still driving.
Jason?
Yeah.
We've got, if we look at correlation coefficient right now, we have a debris ball with this.
Okay.
And that is right over the Bronson area. If we could pull up weather 3 again, great riveting video confirming what we've been tracking here. But what you're looking at right here is correlation coefficient. This product shows you things that are similar in the atmosphere and things that are not similar. So when you see this basic color over here, that's all raindrops, everything's similar. When you start to get this noise in here, or that little area, that little spike in blue, that indicates that you have debris. That is a debris signature, and that is from stuff that was lofted by that tornado. It looks pretty strong right now over the Peru area, but this is picking up on things that are not similar size and shape in the atmosphere. So that could be stuff from lawns. Oftentimes it's trees or limbs that get thrown into the atmosphere, but the fact our radar is picking up on it, that is a big deal, indicating that we had a tornado on the ground. I'm going to throw it out there that there's probably still a big tornado on the ground right now with that area of circulation we've been tracking, and that would be right over the Peru area. So Jason, again, this is just confirmation of what we've been tracking. There's nothing new here or nothing surprising, but areas of central Huron County right now, just south of Norwalk. I mean, Norwalk, this cell is just south of you, the worst part of it, but you need to be in your safe place right now. But from Bronson down to North Fairfield, we need to be taking this storm seriously because there's likely a tornado on the ground heading right over 61 right now, eventually getting towards 162. If you're in Heartland, Fitchville, Clarksfield, New London, you need to be down in the basement right now or in a center closet. Jason, I know you mentioned the helmet thing earlier. Again, with the tornado warning, it's not a fashion show, all right? If you've got a helmet, whether it be a baseball helmet, a bike helmet, that's something you want to put on, all right, because you want to protect your head as you go to your safe place. And again, another great tip that I learned from forecasting down in Georgia, and Jason, I know you've done numerous tornado coverage experiences down in Texas as well. Both of us spent time in the Deep South covering large tornadoes. One of the things that I was taught down there was to put shoes on before a tornado warning, because God forbid what you're coming out to would be, debris or a house that's a mess. You want to have shoes on for that experience. So again, not a fashion show. It's best to protect your head, your life, your property. That's our job here at Channel 3 as meteorologists, and that's what we want to do. And those are some good tips for you if you're in Fitchville, Heartland, or New London area, or even in North Fairfield right now, because we have a tornado on the ground producing a large-sized debris ball right now near the Bronson area. Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. That is very much so critical information too. And as we look at this storm system, we look and see, okay, what is still readily available, what has changed, what is remaining, and what is strengthening here. And one of the things that we see is that the energy level is still fairly high. The debris ball that we were seeing is happening right now. So we know that there is a tornado and that it is moving south and east roughly, and I believe at last check, roughly between 30, 35 miles per hour. Whether it's 40 miles per hour, this is still a storm that is targeting this area, moving south and east. Is it moving to Cleveland? No. Is it moving to Lake Geauga? No. Is it moving to Ashtabula? No. It is moving south and also east. So this is where this storm system is located. North Fairfield, you should already be where you are. If you don't know, if you just even have a slight suspicion that this is coming your way, turn up that TV and go ahead and get in the lowest level of your house in an interior away from windows, okay? Because we got some damage that we've already seen with this tornado over near the Point Place area. So this is still the same system headed south and also east. This includes that extended area of that tornado warning, okay? Clarksville, even up to Townsend, this still includes that severe thunderstorm warning. That is secondary right now to the tornado warnings that are in place. And we still have, look at this. We still have a lot of energy that's coming in. That's that hook. That is a signature showing that there is still some energy that is influxing, that is coming in with this system that is causing some friction, that is causing a little bit of turning to happening here. Matt, can we pull up velocity winds and kind of see what's happening? Yep. And then the shear as well? Yeah. This is over near, again, south of the Bronson area. I know a lot of people over there should already be in their safe place, but hopefully they're there. Fitchville, again, remember that you're not that far away. You're likely going to be a target region for this area. And we got a very broad area of what could likely be some spinning that is happening there just to the south of the Sherman area. Back north and also west of that, we still have some energy readily available. Okay, so we're still going to be watching this region as well. So as we look towards the rest of the evening here, we're still going to have a lot of energy fetching as it's coming through from the Fremont area to Sandusky, over to Lorain, over to LaGrange area. A lot of rain that is associated over the lake right now. We don't see any severe weather happening there, so probably just marine activity that is going to be hampered there, but no one should be on the lake anyway. But when we look at this area here, we see that we still have some very unsettled weather that is happening over here. We still have a lot of hail embedded with that, and that means that this storm has a very, very strong updraft. When you look at hail, you think, okay, well, hail is happening. You have very, very cold cloud tops. You get a lot of energy rushing up into the storm. As the raindrops are falling, they get thrust right back up, and that sort of you start to build in that hail core. And you know that is a very, very strong storm. Hail size at this nucleus is roughly about 1.3. That is larger than a golf ball, okay? That can do a lot of damage to your vehicle. I should know. I've had that happen, $7,000 worth of damage, and it is a memory that I will never forget, and I don't want you to have to deal with that as well. But again, this is secondary to a tornado that's on the ground and that is moving. So remember this. Make sure you're in your safe place. You should already have a plan in place. Just go ahead and pop down into that basement or interior room. If you don't have a basement, that's fine. Get into an interior room. If you are in a mobile home, if you cannot seek shelter at this moment, just please go into the interior, put something over you, protect yourself, and stay with us as long as possible. Okay? So this energy is still firing off here over towards Erie, Huron, and also Lorain County. I'm going to check quickly here to see if there's any other reports that are coming out in this area. Kelly, have we seen anything about power outages over here or anything from the emergency managers? Okay, no problem there. Let's go back over towards a live cam over towards Erie and Lorain and see what's happening there while we reset here quickly and show you what's happening in that area. If we could pull that up here. I want to check with you, Matt, and see if you are seeing anything over there.
Well, Jason, I'm continuing to keep my eye on that rotation,
okay.
And the good news is it's broadened up a little bit. I mean, we noticed that it tightened up before they issued that warning, and hopefully we're noticing it broaden out before they expire that warning. But we still need to treat this like there's a tornado on the ground in Erie County right now. I'm sorry, Huron County now, as this cell continues down to the south and the east. It was interesting when I pulled up that the shear marker for you. I want to kind of pull this up again. These are your shear tracks. I'm going to take the radar product off on here. Let's take lightning off as well. You can see what happens, and this is very characteristic of storms that are supercells that produce tornadoes. They tend to continue to recycle that same area of rotation over and over. So what we've had was kind of a transfer of power here. This is the past, the shear or the rotation within this storm. Here's the first one that was coming off the lake that we were noticing through the Bellevue area. And notice how it's kind of transferred over to this one. All right, if we track these out, these are the locations that need to be in their safe place and ready for this thing to recycle again as this continues along. Kind of that same path. You notice it's not moving quite as far down to the southeast. It's got a more easterly component. But North Fairfield, 810, I mean, it's already upon you. Fitchville, we've now kind of bumped that rotation area to you around 819. If you're in New London, we're going to fast way forward to Ashland around 844 and West Salem around 851. If you're in those locations, pay very close attention to this storm because it's produced rotation, it's produced a tornado several times as it appears right now, and it will likely do so again. The one good thing going with us in terms of favor to kind of produce something a little bit more favorable weather-wise and a little bit more stable is the fact that we are now upon sunset here in the next hour or so. We're going to lose that daytime heating. We're running into areas that don't have quite as much instability, which wasn't high to begin with out towards the west, but areas down towards the south. Time is working in our favor in terms of bringing this storm intensity down. I'm hoping that this area of rotation broadens out and continues to do so, but I'll tell you, I continue to be impressed with it. It is right over North Fairfield right now, heading down towards Fitchville. So those two areas, this storm is right upon you right now with that potential tornado, and that will continue to translate down towards the south, eventually getting into areas of northern Ashland County. That's where this rotating area of this thunderstorm is going to go. You can't see much because I've got the lightning product on there. There is a lot of lightning with this. This storm has tremendous amounts of energy, so I'll take that off, and you can see where the rain is right now. Cleveland, just a little heads up for you, and areas out towards the east and south of Cleveland, you've got a good soaking for your garden right now. This is great. We'll probably see some of this heavy rain move ashore, but to me, there's no severe threat with that. Our severe threat is going to lie in the southwestern half of this complex of storms. So our severe threat is going to be right in this area right here. So Medina County, you're not out of it yet. Akron, if you continue to get rain, that's a good thing. We're going to stabilize your atmosphere a little bit more. Hopefully we can keep everything south and west of you. But if you're anywhere in this circled area, there's no rain out in front of this. You're dealing with instability and a nice push with the jet stream coming in. So we're likely going to continue this severe weather as we go throughout the rest of the evening. Jason, anything new over there?
You know, I have a sneaky suspicion, Matt. It's actually a very unsettled feeling of what has happened over in Peru. We don't have any reports of video coming out of there, but I have a suspicion that a lot of people are impacted over there. I can only hope that it is a rural area and, you know, things are kind of spaced out there. But, you know, we're going to keep our eye out on this area over there. And I think I maybe could be misremembering, Kelly, if you had a new video, though. But we are, again, watching this area over here in Norwalk County as it races south. We're still watching this tornado warning to see what happens, as Matt was just saying, it broadening out here. But look at, you know, this is just a standard radar here. You can see where we still have that inflow that's coming in here and that rotation likely happening at the surface as well as the mid-level. So, you know, this is still an imminent threat for this area as it races south and east. So we're gonna kind of, you know, reset in terms of, you know, seeing what's still readily available in terms of strengthening and sort of the effects here as well. That severe thunderstorm watch you can see in those yellow boxes, those kind of like grayed, you know, pretty much grayed out yellow boxes there. We also see that they extended that severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up right now, including Ashland County, including the areas of Wellington as well. So that is going to be continuing, you know, over the next, probably in next 45 minutes, I probably judge there for this area. Look at these couple polygons. So we still have, through about 9 p.m. Okay, so just over 45 minutes from now, 50 minutes from now, you can see there. So this is still an area that is ripe for thunderstorm development, severe thunderstorm development. In fact, so this is still going to be an area that is impacted by high winds, as well as hail, as well as the possibility that there could be some ingredients that could prompt some rotation in this area. But as Matt was just saying, and we've been watching, what we're going to have happen here over the next 45 minutes, we're going to continue losing that daytime heating, which is going to be necessary for these storms to continue. It's not really the case when you're in the south, because you can get a lot of tornadic activity happening after sunset. But that could also kind of help our benefit right now. That frontal boundary is still kind of nudging here, so we are on the leading edge of this, so that is still going to be pushing through. We still have a south wind in place, so we're still drawing moisture from the south that is kind of moving into this storm, and you have drier, colder air moving in behind that. So you get this sort of wraparound that's happening. You get that warm, moist air being lofted by that colder air that is digging south of that, and then you get those strong updrafts. So we have I have a lot of hand motions going right now, but hopefully you can kind of stick with me and kind of understand how this is all happening. And then you get those strong updrafts, you get those really cold cloud tops, and that is what's prompting the larger hail, okay? Which again, this is kind of outside of our normal severe weather season, but it still can very much so happen. And, you know, crazier things have happened before. You know, we had a very mild winter. So you can see again where this kind of hook is still happening here on radar, just to the south and also east of the southern portion of Erie County right now. I think they're probably going to eventually kind of shave off this area back towards the Bellevue area as well, probably over the next 10 to perhaps even 15 minutes. But this area is still prime real estate for very large hail. Large, I mean, you know, at least golf ball size hail, okay? As well as lots of lightning, as well as some rotation. Matt, do we have anything back on correlation coefficient within this general area?
That's a great question. It looks like the debris ball dropped. I haven't seen anything here recently. You can see it's really tough to tell. Let me slow this down a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. It's really tough to tell, but right there, look for the spike, how it turns bright blue all of a sudden, and then that goes away. That's that debris in the atmosphere. I know it's still kind of noisy with this. That's pretty typical with this product. But as of right now, I don't see a lot of debris being lofted by what would be a tornado, and that's some good news. Jason, one of the other things is, This thing is putting down tremendous rain. I mean, this is an incredible storm. I showed some of those totals when we were on there. 2 to 3 inches of rain, plus there's a flood advisory out for Erie and Huron County. So this thing is putting down incredible amounts of rain. We've got incredible amounts of lightning with this. We've got the rotation within it. They've got hail within it. This is a nasty storm of nasty storms. And again, if you've been with us long enough, we don't like to overdo things here at Channel 3. There's a lot of fluff elsewhere, all right, and we don't like to do that. But this is a bad storm, all right, and it continues to track down towards the south. Again, Huron County is seeing the brunt of this right now. The radar continues to show that rotation right in here. There's still a real strong rotation on this. It's broadened out a little bit, but outside of that, we still have damaging winds occurring within this storm as well. Weather Service is going to continue with that tornado warning. Jason, you were mentioning that you thought they would expire that northern half. They have. You were absolutely right with that. And this storm is now pushing down into areas of southern Huron County. So let's track out who's in the path of that. Notice, and I don't think this is a coincidence from the Weather Service, notice how out in advance of this, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for areas of Ashland County and northern Richland County. I don't think that's coincidence. I think they're saying the same thing that we're seeing, that this rotation is kind of broadened out a bit. But we have to be real careful with this. Just because this rotation's broadened out right in here, it's still rotating. We may still have a tornado on the ground. And given the history of what this storm has done in the past, it may just be recycling so that once it gets into the Bailey Lakes area, the Ashland area, heavily populated around 250, the Weller area, once it gets in there, we could see this thing recycle and form a new tornado off of it as the winds kind of redevelop a little bit. But per our conversation earlier in this live coverage that we've been doing, the good news is that things are less stable as you get further east. As we go later in the evening, we're losing some instability. But I got a hunch here, Jason, that it's not instability driving this, because numbers were not off the chart from to begin with. I think it's a lot to do with that jet energy that's pushing into this, that's sustaining this storm, because this storm continues to cycle and rotate as it begins to head into areas of Ashland County.
I agree with you, my friend. I agree with you. I know we have some video coming over to Point Place here, but you know, I kind of want to stop and say, you know, as my grandmother used to say, you have to be careful, grandson, what you ask to get Lord for, because yeah, it's always good to look in your rearview mirror sometimes, and in this instance, it is good to look in our rearview mirror because it is likely that we're going to see more of those flood advisories come out with all of the heavy rain that we had in this area. I believe we had video, and I've been seeing some video from Point Place over in this area. So this is near the Toledo area. Yes, Toledo is outside of our coverage area, but this is just showing sort of the strength of the storm when it was firing through this area, and then also continuing south into our coverage area. Yes, we have a lot of rural places here in Northeast Ohio, but we also have a lot of vital farmlands in this area as well. So we have to be mindful of that. You know, this is just sort of like a paralyzing image when you see this happening. You see roof being torn off. You see power lines being torn off as well. This is sort of when Mother Nature really kind of shows us who's boss, and we're really just trying to be sort of respectful of what this energy is causing in this area. As Matt and I were just saying, the energy behind this thunderstorm system, or this severe weather system, you can say, oh, this is good news. You know, our batch has gotten a little bit smaller here. It is different than what we were dealing with today. We had temperatures in the 80s today. We had sunshine today. We had humidity out there readily available today. We still have a lot of south wind that is coming in as well. So we have such a difference. We have a perpendicular flow almost of what's happening with this thunderstorm system, with this whole entire system as it comes through. This is just the area that is most unsettled and most unstable as of right now. You know, okay, we're going back to this product here, which is a great news for us in terms of kind of showing where that info notch is kind of happening here. It's not really as pronounced as it was before, which is kind of great news when we're looking at this thunderstorm system. But our friends there, just to the south of 250, and I apologize for if I mispronounce your town, you know, it's coming from a good place. Greenwich area, New London just to the east of that, Fitchfield just to the, you're just kind of to the east of this here, but you're still kind of with it here. As Matt puts on our product here, you can kind of see where the timeline is in terms of preparation for this area. Hopefully you're already in that safe place and you have a means of kind of staying with this here. But you can kind of see it's 8:18 right now. You can kind of see just about 15 minutes from now the Ruggles area, Bailey Lakes area, Ashland area as well. Our friends down over in West Salem, you're kind of in that target region as this system moves south and east. Worcester, I think you're fine as of right now. So you're in prep mode, okay? You're in prep mode for what could be moving into your region over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Ashland, you are in that severe thunderstorm warning box right now, okay? So this means you're definitely going to get some severe thunderstorm type activity with those gusts exceeding 60+ miles per hour. You're very much so likely to get some hail as well, and we'll put back hail up in a few minutes. We have a update on power outages, I believe, where you can see Lucas County, 9,000+ power outages right now. This is courtesy of our friends there at First Energy. Ottawa County, 4,200+, Sandusky County, 3,800+, Huron County, 2,000+. No doubt these numbers will be going up for the rest of the evening, as well as, the power crews cannot get out when there's imminent or inclement weather that's happening. So we're definitely going to see these numbers going up into the evening, likely leading into our 11 p.m. broadcast. This is where we sort of kind of emphasize a way of getting some of these weather alerts and advisories and things that's happening here. So, make sure that you have your phone charged. Make sure that you kind of protect your lives and property. Make sure that you're in a safe place as well. Our purple box is that tornado warning in effect. Our yellow box, again, is that severe thunderstorm warning. And yes, it may be like, okay, Jason, you and Matt are repeating yourselves, but, people are popping in and out. People are, kind of seeing where this direction is going and judging their level of threat. So this is why we have to continue emphasizing this information, because it takes resonance in your brain, and we want to make sure that we keep each and every one of you safe. That tornado warning going through 8:30 p.m., so we roughly got about 30 minutes or so left on that one. Looks like we have another one just to the west of that, Matt.
That's severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado potential with it.
Okay.
By Tiffany, yeah. Jason, we've got another 10 minutes of this, and hopefully we'll be able to let everyone get back to regular scheduled programming. I mean, our job is to protect life and property. We get that. I think you get that as well. I don't want to cut into coverage. Jason and I haven't had dinner yet. All right, we want to do that. Okay, so if we're cutting into your show, I apologize for that, but that's our job. FCC says we have to do it, and we do it very happily as well. So we've got another 10 minutes on this cell. Again, the tornado warning's out for Huron County. I'm looking at the rotation within the storm. It still exists. Is it going to be strong enough to produce another tornado warning beyond that? That's up to the National Weather Service. One thing I do want to tell you, though, because many of you watching from the Cleveland area, the Akron area as well, I don't want to rule you out. You've got a severe thunderstorm watch, and I don't want to rule you out from severe weather. But I got to tell you, from looking at radar, I'm going to take lightning off because it's just so prolific. I think we're fine. I really do. This cell right here could get a little squirrely as it comes in Cuyahoga County. We'll have to watch that. But this is a rain shield out towards Lake, Geauga, Ashtabula County. I think your severe threat is very minimal out there. I think it's a good soaking rain for you. Akron, you're getting some rain in advance, so that's some good news, right? That'll help stabilize the atmosphere. It's really this portion right here that continues to head down towards the south, especially this portion right here that we have to watch. And all of that is in the southwestern half of our viewing area. So that's great news for the Akron, Cleveland corridor out towards the east. I think we just get rain out of this. We'll have to keep an eye on the wind within that, but that's good news for the rest of your evening. So just kind of to level set with everyone, that's where we stand. Because we're dealing with a tornado warning in Huron County right now, I don't think we're going to be dealing with tornado warnings in Cleveland or areas out towards the east or down towards Akron. Although we'll have to keep an eye on it. I think it's going to be more of an Ashland and Wayne County problem if this continues to recycle. Hopefully the instability as it goes down will continue to help our cause here this evening. And there you go. Jason, you're going to be, and viewers, you're going to be stuck with us a little bit longer. This storm, we have a new tornado warning now for northern Ashland County. And looking at the rotation, I think it's a smart call by the Weather Service. I think they do a great job here in Cleveland. And the reason why is because of the history of this storm and the fact that it is still rotating. So here's your new area now, northern Ashland County. I don't want to leave out extreme northeastern areas of Richland County from 13 as you get up towards the county line there heading into Huron County. But this is a Ruggles, Sullivan, Bailey Lakes, out towards the Ashland area issue. This is going to travel right along 250. That's that area of rotation that we're watching. Again, on the outer border of that, you could have some issues as well, but it's really the central corridor. I think this box is nicely issued here. It's right into that area that we have to watch. Becomes a little bit more concerning because we then move it out of more rural areas into a more heavily populated area in Ashland. So that being said, there's probably a lot more eyeballs on this wondering what's happening with this storm. So Ashland, you need to be in your safe place because you're in a warning. You still have a little bit of time for this. That's the good news as that area of rotation's off towards the north. But then we start to mess with 71. We've got some ODOT cams down there. We'll get those ready. Obviously nothing imminent right now, but this storm is going to be heading towards the Ashland area. And given the history of that with the rotation, that's something we're going to have to keep in mind. Still raining in buckets for you in Erie County. You've had 2 to 3, almost 4 inches of rain in spots. There's likely some flooding. You've also got the damage from what was likely a tornado. Areas of Huron County, it's still coming down real good. As we zip into this storm, though, the most important part that we have to watch is the wind component, where that tornado component is. If you don't have the rotation going over you, you still have a very dangerous cell. We have a ton of lightning with this. We continue to have a hail core with this, producing up to ping pong ball size hail. It's been mainly golf ball and smaller. That's the good news, but we've seen that hail core flare up from time to time. You also have heavy rain, lightning, and there's damaging wind outside of this tornado threat. But by and large, the most important part of the storm is this portion right here, which is just south of Fitchville. It's over 224 right now, getting ready to head into extreme northeastern Richland County. So this area right in here, I'm going to circle it for you, right over 224. That is the area of concern within the mess of this storm. We can zone in on that. That's where the worst part is. Jason, when I do weather school visits, and I know you do a lot of them as well, the kids always ask about tornadoes, and it's always a scary thing. I was scared growing up as a kid when we have a tornado warning. Even though I loved weather, I would start crying because I assumed the worst. I just want the kids to know that are watching, and the families that don't know what to tell your kids if you're under a tornado warning, I want them to know there are people like doctors that know different parts of your body. We know the different parts of our body. You know where your heart is, where your mouth is, all that stuff, right? Meteorologists know the different parts of a thunderstorm, and I want to make that very clear that the whole storm isn't producing a tornado. We can look at the winds and dissect the storm and know exactly where that is, and that area that we need to be concerned with is right over that circled area. If you're not in that, or if you're on the outside of this tornado warning, you're not going to have a tornado, all right? There are strong winds, but that is by and large the most dangerous part of the storm, right over 224. And knowing that, if you have a tornado warning, you're in the path of this, which extends into Bailey Lakes, 250, 545 comes into play, Ruggles as well. If you're in the path of that, you can do things now, thank goodness, to protect yourself, and that would be get into an interior room or down in the basement. So tornadoes don't need to be scary. Nature doesn't need to be scary. It's not all apocalyptic like you see on the Weather Channel and places like that like to hype things up, all right? But this storm has had a history of producing some damage, and we want to keep you safe, and you can do things to do that as you protect yourself and take those precautions out ahead of it. Jason?
The great Matt Wintz. I always love talking to you. You always have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful perspective. And even for, those are young up to old and thus in between, there's a lot of PTSD that is associated from thunderstorms and severe weather when people were young, and they carry them all the way through until their adult age and well thereafter too. We're now getting into a territory right now that we're nearing I-71 headed south and west. This is going to be near the Mansfield area. So this is a critical artery for us here in Northeast Ohio. So this is likely going to be impacting the interstate region there as well. As Matt was just saying here, that we are getting into a point in the evening. Yes, we'll lose that daytime heating, but we're kind of seeing this storm backbuild as well. That energy is still holding strong as it moves south and east across the area. Behind that, though, we've also seen very heavy rain for 2 hours plus. This flood advisory is going through midnight, and I think we're going to see a lot of areas, a whole chunk of areas, as that flood advisory is going to be extended south. I do not feel as though, and Matt, I think you would concur that the Cleveland Metro is going to be necessarily dealing with a flood advisory. Of course, yeah, we do have some depression areas and some high traffic areas. But I think we're going to see a lot more of those flood advisories kind of hold steady over the next hour or two that could bleed into the rest of the evening as well. So tomorrow's commute could be a little bit dicey for some areas over there. We asked for the rain. We prayed for the rain. We desired the rain, and we're just getting a lot of rain in a very short period of time. When I was in Austin, we were very thirsty for some rain, and one of our counties got 7 inches of rain within a couple hours. So you can only imagine that there was a disastrous situation. We still have a lot of lightning associated with this. We still have a very, very high, very large hail core associated with this as well. And we likely still have very much so damaging winds associated with this thunderstorm system.
Look at that hail, Jason.
That. That is a lot of hail, and that is some sizable hail. This is not pea-sized hail, folks. This is 1.5 inches. That is some pretty damaging hail. There's going to be a lot of insurance reports of people that are going to be affected by this puppy here. Once we look at sort of our surrounding areas, we're going to see that, we don't have a whole lot of activity happening here. This is our target region right now for the Bailey Lakes, Ashland area, getting down to near Mansfield. You're not that far away there as well. That southwestern corridor of I-75, once you get outside of, let's say, maybe the Homer area, look at this, 4289. These are rural roads as well, but they are vital roads to our rural residents out there. The Greenwich area, the Ruggles area, New London area, please don't hate me if I mispronounce it, okay? This is sort of I would probably say the target zone, and I hate to use that. In fact, if people are really actually suffering from the effects of what could possibly be a tornado or damaging winds in this area. But this is still that zone of concern for Matt and I this evening and all other meteorologists here in the Cleveland Metro to be in fact. So that's what's diving south right now. You can see sort of this wraparound that's happening here, okay? So we still got that south wind coming on in. We got that drier air wrapping in around that, and these two are clashing. They're meeting right now. They're arguing, as we tell the kids when it comes to severe weather. These two air masses are arguing, but we still have some wraparound flow that is likely going to move into the region for tomorrow. Would that be tornadic? No, it will not, but it's definitely going to be adding some extra rain to the mix here, but it'll be very sparse for us tomorrow. This system is diving south. It is carrying energy with it. It still is holding steady in terms of its energy level. This is just really impressive, Matt, with all the lightning that's still embedded with this. I'm actually pretty shocked here as it's 8:30 and sunset, I believe, is 9:02. So we've lost that daytime heating for the most part, but there's something that this storm is really being fed by, and it is still eating it. I'm sorry if this is dinner time for you, but it's still eating, as we would say in the South here.
Jason,
so, yeah,
it's interesting. The lightning and the hail has a lot to do with the fact that it's cool outside. The fact that, it's been a cool late spring so far. You and I were talking off air about the severe weather down south. They normally don't get the tornadoes down in Oklahoma that they're getting right now because the jet stream's further north and all that heat and humidity is usually pushing on our door. We don't have that right now. Because we've got so much cold air aloft, we're able to create larger hail because it's colder up there, right? And you just need a storm like this with tremendous uplift to tap into that.
And it is tapping, man. It is doing a toe tap this evening here. So as Matt has it up here right now, let's just go ahead and show this. And, at least for right now, to show where people, if they may be tuning in or just kind of want to know what's happening outside of this area. There's our severe thunderstorm watch, okay? That is through 11 p.m. So we got roughly about 2.5 more hours left of that. This is sort of also our severe thunderstorm warning. That is until 9 p.m., so roughly another half hour of that. And this is where our tornado warning is. We still have Huron County included in this, okay? We're going to allow National Weather Service to keep this up until they deem it necessary to take that down, but we'll still have some really, pretty heavy rain associated with that, and maybe some thunder and lightning as well. We don't have a whole lot. It look like this thing is kind of, losing a little bit of its steam, but this is the area that we're, again, still watching here as well. Matt, I don't think it's necessary for correlation coefficient right now.
We can always check it, though.
But, it's good to just check.
Yeah, Jason, this system's losing steam, and that's great news for those in Ashland County. I mean, I'm looking at this rotation, and it's not fizzling out, but it's broad like it has been, and it's kind of fizzling, which is great. And it's right over Bailey Lakes right now, and you called it out. There's no debris ball with this. We're not worried about that. But again, the rotation, as you pointed out, is starting to kind of fall apart. What we look for, obviously, is like the red and the green to be really close together, right? That shows that you have a tight couplet, and we just don't have that right now. So let me take it back in time so you can see when we did have it, and you can kind of see the trend. See that storm right there as it's heading right over 250? Right there was when it was on the strongest side, and right now it's starting to weaken up a little bit, and it's getting ready to head over Bailey Lakes. It's right in this area right here. So I think really important for us right now, we've got another 15 minutes or so on this tornado warning. We're going to keep our eye on this area right here, right over Ruggles, to see if that tightens up or if it's finally starting to unwind a little bit. I do think it's out of the influence of the lake. I mentioned the lake, I think, was playing an influence on this storm initially, kind of wound this thing up like a top with the different wind coming off the frictionless water and the wind inland as well. And as this gets further away from the lake, perhaps that has something to do with it. You never know what Mother Nature's up to in terms of dynamics, but that would be my hunch on kind of why we formed this thing to begin with. But right over 224, could have a wall cloud right now still with this, but this does not scream tornado on the ground to me anymore. But as we mentioned, this storm's still packing a punch because we have not just incredible amounts of rain falling out of this, but we have a lot of lightning with this as well. There's still that real good hail core that's getting ready to head into the Ashland area. And I mean, the storm is still going to be a severe storm. It's still packing a major punch right now in northern Ashland County. So we still need to take this storm seriously as it heads down to the south. Let me throw lightning product on there real quick. I'll pause it. Let's just take a little gander. Jason, what do you think? We've been at like 250 for lightning strikes when we've done this. We should see a downtick.
We're still going to be in the 200s, I bet, at least.
We're at 373. I think I made the area a little bigger, though.
They did expire the tornado warning for Huron County, and they've also issued a flash flood warning for Erie and Huron County. The flash flood warning is until 1:30 in the morning.
Right, and you were talking about that. There you go. There's your flash flooding. So tornado, we need to take that seriously. I'm going to take a break from the tornado talk for a second because I think it has lessened up, at least that threat. It's right over Bailey Lakes and Ruggles right now. So if you're in those spots, you want to be in a safe place. Ashland, probably best to be in your safe place right now. But the bigger threat that's going to take over from this whole complex of storms is the flood threat. You're dealing with that right now in Erie County. Again, a flash flood warning. Flash flooding is different than a normal flood warning in the fact that this is water that's taken on quickly. It already fell, so the good news is that we're starting to lessen that up a little bit, but we're going to have water problems if we don't already in Erie and Huron County. That will likely translate into Ashland County and even Lorain County as well as this heavy rain just continues to fall within this storm. So this product right here is called reflectivity. Fancy name. What does it mean, Matt? It's rain, all right? And it tells you how heavy that rain is. It tells you how light the rain is. We've got a moderate rain falling out towards the east right now. Cleveland, we have raindrops as well. I don't see any severe threat from Cleveland east the rest of the evening. I really don't. I know you're under severe thunderstorm watch. I just don't see it right now. The severe threat and the real heavy rain, and your eyes are drawn to this area right here, and that rain continues to come down at a real good clip. We're talking 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour. And the problem is that we have kind of a little slow mover here. As this continues to advance south, it's starting to slow a little bit, and we're getting renewed flow kind of in from the west like this. So Huron County, you not only had that main storm that went through, but you continue to get heavy rain with a different storm that's moving in behind that. Flooding, as I mentioned, I think is going to take over as the primary threat from all this as we go throughout the rest of the evening. Jason, I'm going to send it back to you in a second. I do want to look at that hail core in Ashland County right now, and it's still showing up. Pretty decent hail right now, likely on the size of quarters, falling into Bailey Lakes. That is going to translate into Ashland. So if you are in Ashland or anywhere around it, it's the city of the friendliest people or the happiest people. I forget what the sign says on 71 as you're heading north. But those people aren't going to be very happy, Jason, as they wake up and have some hail damage on their car if they don't bring it in.
Absolutely, absolutely. They will not, Matt. You know, we're gonna continue watching that hail core and see exactly how that is performing. It's kind of condensed a little bit, but it's still very much so prevalent, which indicates that there's still a lot of strength associated with this storm. As Matt was just emphasizing, and we'll continue to emphasize that together as well, is this will eventually turn into a flash flooding or flooding type of event, considering the very heavy rain that we've been dealing with here, at least since probably maybe about 5-6 p.m. for our areas north and west over towards Erie and also Sandusky County. When you looked at sort of this area here, rain has been continuing in that western area for quite some time here, and that rain will progress south. This system, yes, it's been moving fast, but the system has had a lot of energy wrapped in with it, and it's been putting a lot of rain down as well. If we want to maybe kind of check in some of those hot spots, you know, and see exactly what those readings look like over there, Matt. That is a lot of rain, you know, but within the past 2-3 hours. That's a lot. So there's no doubt.
Jason, it is radar estimated, so we have to keep in mind that they've had a lot of hail with this. And so the radar doesn't know that giant hailstone, it thinks it's a raindrop. So these numbers can be exaggerated a bit when you have big hail producing storms like this. But still, we're dealing with flooding and probably on the order of 1 to 3 inches, maybe not the 4, due to that hail. It kind of throws numbers off. But still, you're right, flooding is a big issue up there.
And the ground can only handle so much as well. It's been so dry out there, so it can soak up all that it wants, and once it gets full, you know, it's going to allow that to just overflow, and we're going to be seeing that happen in this area as well. So I think likely over the next probably half hour or so, I think the National Weather Service will likely continue that for Ashland County, but whether or not we go past 9 p.m. remains to be seen here with this tornado warning in this area. I think they'll also eventually start to shave off some of this severe thunderstorm warning back towards southern Erie County here as well. So you can still see there are still some issues there near the Bailey Lakes region, south on, I think, is that 250, 280, just to the north, and also I think that was 250, yeah, near the Bailey Lakes region, south of Ruggles right now. Ashland County, you're really sort of the zone of concern that we're watching. Again, this is nearing the artery of I-71 south and west towards this area. So this area is going to get a lot of heavy rain. There's going to be people parked on the side of the road as well. So, you know, in the event that we still have not hit sunset time. So in the event that you are or know someone that's traveling right now in this area, make sure that they at the very least, have their headlights on. I know it sounds probably redundant, but a lot of people still drive in heavy rain without their headlights on. Let's put one more tracker on this, Matt. At least.
I'm trying to get the camera for you real quick.
Okay.
This is 71 at US 250, so the storm's approaching this area right here. It doesn't tell us much. It's raining.
But it's still good to see, though.
Right. What do you want to see?
That was a great notion there. If we could put a little bit more of a tracker on here.
Oh, sure.
And guys in the back, if we have maybe some cams, some extra cams we can pop up for some people where this storm has kind of raced on through, maybe back over towards this area. If you guys see any cams that we can probably pull up here. But let's hone in on this tracker right now for our friends over in Ashland County as it moves south and east. Ashland, Worcester over the next 10 to 15 minutes for you. East Union, you can see roughly around 9 p.m. for you. 9:15 over in the Millersburg, also the Walnut Creek area. So yeah, we have roughly maybe about 45, 50 more minutes left with this here. But if that hail core holds strong and we still have some decent shear with that as well, we could likely see this be extended and go farther south and east as well. But as Matt was just saying earlier, this is mainly going to be a rain event for areas north and east. That includes the Cleveland Metro. This includes the Akron-Canton. We didn't forget about you over there, Ashtabula, our friends over in Lake Geauga County, Trumbull County as well. So you have a little bit of lightning here. So you can see we still have some instability over here, but not as much as we have over here in Ashland County. And I know if you're living in Summit County, Portage County, if you're here in Cleveland right now, you're thinking, well, it doesn't concern me. You know, I'm not in this, but it concerns our friends over in Ashland County over in Huron County, over in Medina County, western Medina County as well. Still a lot of lightning, over 300 right now. We were up from the 2s earlier, as Matt was just talking about. And Kelly, you said we have a live cam? Okay, we have a live cam from Vermilion. Let's take a look at that. Ooh, look at that, Matt.
Yeah, Jason, I wanted to draw attention up towards the lakeshore because there are a couple squirrely cells out over the lake right now. And I mean, this is obviously a view of one of those storms out over the lake. I don't want to let our guard down for anything, all right? Today obviously was not going to be a robust tornado day or severe weather day. There was nothing in the forecast about this until the last 2 nights we started to pick up on it. I didn't hear any severe weather chatter anywhere else, so we were out ahead of this. But did we think there was going to be a giant tornado on the ground today? Absolutely not. The atmosphere can do weird things. It was supportive of severe weather. You get that lake involved, you get all sorts of mess that can come up. And again, that lake can cause all sorts of problems. And I think initially that's what caused this, in addition to that punch of jet energy coming in. Live shot right now. This is our Cleveland water cam out at the crib. And you notice, yeah, we've got darkening skies. This is just a general rainfall for Cleveland right now. No severe weather threat, at least locally. But as I mentioned, I want to turn our attention to out over the lake. We still have that tornado warning that's going to continue for about another 2 minutes down in Ashland County. Just a heads up to you, I don't see a very tight area of rotation. That storm is still rotating near Ruggles right now, but it's very broad and it's a lot weaker. So we may be dealing with a wall cloud in northern Ashland County. But to me, there's no indication that this thing's going to come down. It would likely be heading on up as that rotation becomes a little bit more straight line. We still have strong winds down there, but the rotating part of that storm, I'm really not too concerned with right now. What I don't want to say concerned, but what I'm watching right now is this cell out here, out over the lake. We got 2 cells out over the lake right now. There's one just offshore from Avon Lake getting ready to head into the Rocky River area. That will come into the greater Cleveland area and downtown probably in the next, I would say 10, 15 minutes or so. Not concerned with that. There's not a lot of funky wind activity or anything like that. It's this one out here that's off the coast of Lorain County. It's got a little rotation with it. And again, normally I wouldn't bat an eye at it, but the way that things have gone this evening so far with these storms and Lake Erie, we're going to need to keep our eye on it. And what we're probably going to do is go back to regular scheduled programming because our warning's going to be expired here in a little bit, or going to be allowed to expire. But Jason and I, you bet your bottom line, we're going to be sitting here in the Weather Center watching this cell out over the lake. Let me turn on the wind real quick. I'll avoid this storm down towards the south. And I just want to show you this. Right there, you see that at the bottom? It looks like a little bit of noise, but right there, I guarantee we have a little bit of rotation with the storm, and that would come ashore in Lorain County probably in another 20, 25 minutes or so. It's not the robust storm that we saw coming out of Detroit that nailed areas near Toledo, that had that tornado on the ground out towards Lucas County, that produced likely a tornado in areas of Erie and Huron County. It's not that. It's a different little setup here. But I would keep my eye on this cell as it comes into Lorain County, and we'll certainly do that. Jason, any update on this warning? Did they allow it to expire or not?
They still have it going on, Matt.
Okay.
I have a friend over near the Huron area, over near the Judson Drive area, and he just sent me a picture now, and he can see a little bit of sunshine over there.
Of course. Why not?
Yep.
Right.
I know.
Jason, it does look like it's been allowed to expire. So let's just give everyone a big picture look real quick. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning still for Erie, Huron County. It's more Ashland and Wayne County and northeastern areas of Richland and Medina County. I know that's a lot of words. That's why we have maps here, all right? This whole area right here.
Maps with Matt.
Something like that. So that's the area that we're watching here. As Jason mentioned earlier, this is a flood threat from here on out. This storm is going to be a beast. It's going to blow through Wayne County, Ashland County, Richland County. You're not done yet. This storm's going to continue to push south. Holmes County, you'll eventually be in play with this. Canton, I wouldn't let your guard down. You'll probably get a decent storm later. We'll keep our eye on those cells out over the lake. But overall, we're going to get you back to regular scheduled program because we have no tornado warning in the viewing area right now. Again, that's the reason why we break in. So we'll get you back to that. We appreciate you spending your evening with us. I know you didn't have a choice. Keep the hate mail away, all right? We're keeping people safe, and that's exactly what we're doing. So, Jason, any parting words here?
I just say stay with us and continue to watch that radar and be mindful that we still have that flooding concern as well over the areas north and west. We're going to continue watching these storms, any and all video that you can safely send in to us. That only helps to better tell the weather story of everything that has happened this evening. We thank you guys for being with us, and also always stay safe.